And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our second matchup of the night of the Masters Coliseum 6 day number 1 playoff bracket. We're here in the quarterfinals. We just wrapped up with Clem versus Cyril. Clem showing a masterclass of TVZ, just pulling Cyril apart time and time again. Cyril could not breathe, he could not keep up. And now we have another TVZ, a very different kind of TVZ, a Korean TVZ. And to be fair, these two players, they have faced off many times over the past week, even over the past couple of months, over the past couple of years. They played so often, and we just casted them last night. It's been 24 hours since they played, and spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have ByuN, and in the bottom right for CranKy Gaming, it is Dark. Here we go. So, for those of you that weren't here last night for ESL Cup Asia, these two faced off. ByuN versus Dark did play in the finals of ESL Cup Asia, and Dark took down ByuN 3-0 in a very surprising fashion, because 3-0s don't typically occur between these two. Again, they face off very often, but very rarely is it one-sided. So Dark had a dominant performance last night in ESL Asia. Likewise, in the last week as well, they faced off at ESL Cup Americas and ESL Asia as well, and Dark was able to take ByuN down both times as well. I think in the last 4 or 5 series, Dark has won over ByuN. So we have a bit of a win streak, a bit of a win record for Dark in recent times. But of course, nothing lasts forever. And historically, ByuN has been able to go toe-to-toe and be pretty even in win rates, in win records with Dark. So at some point, ByuN has to be able to put a win on the board. And here we go already. It's going to be a 2-Rax opener, followed by a 3rd Rax in the main. It's going to be a 3-Rax Mass Reaper. Let's go. Now, we saw a variant of this in Cyril versus Clem already. Clem did do this, but with a Rax proxied across the map. Of course, did lead into a win for Clem. We'll see if ByuN can find as much success here, as he's going to be massing Reapers across the map, and Dark still has not caught onto this. Still is not fully aware as he's getting into his own opener, as he's getting into his hatch gas pool. So a standard opener from Dark. None of this 15-15 shenanigans that Cyril was going for. Dark instead going to be opening up a little bit more standard, a little bit more economic. With this, he can get into faster link speed. The first Reaper has arrived, and the goal here for ByuN is to initially make this look normal, but also look to get some economic damage, and he does get 1 drone! Already Dark's... Oh, 2? No, Dark? This is already too much damage being done here. 2 drones to the first Reaper? Dark asleep at the wheel. Additional Reapers are arriving, but already like a great start for ByuN. Likewise, it's a little bit off camera, but it looks like the Reaper is going to be forced back. Now, with a 3-Rax Reaper, that means that this 3rd base will not finish. This 3rd base should not complete. ByuN is going to be able to focus this down and force a cancel, and he's going to be containing Dark to 2 bases for that much longer. Back at home, ByuN is transitioning. ByuN is throwing down his CC on location. There we go. Additional Reapers have arrived. Dark is now fully aware of what's going on. He has link speed on the way. He has links on the way as well. They are in production. But alas, this base should be cancelled. Hopefully we get the cancel and we don't get a kill. We saw Dark slipping up earlier, but there we go. We do have the cancel on that hatchery. And already a good start for ByuN. We expected him to cancel a base, yes, but we did not expect him to get so much economic damage done. That was 3 drones in total and a ling. Back at home, ByuN is transitioning. He's working on stim, working on his upgrades. Meanwhile, there's still a window where ByuN can do even more damage. Dark can't really tango with these Reapers until link speed finishes. Until link speed is done, Dark is stuck at home. He's going to be focusing on spreading that creep. Here we go. Link speed is 10 seconds away. Links are moving out across the map. Now, Dark is not all in. He's droning. He's droning behind this. He's retaking his 3rd base. These links, more than anything, they're going to be threatening the add-ons for ByuN. Outside of that, though, they're really designed to hunt down the Reapers and to eventually surround them. The Reapers, though, they're safe at home. They do race all the way back home. You can see Dark looking for them out on the map. He is scouring the minimap right now for those Reapers, but alas, he is not finding any of them. And from here, ByuN is safe to transition. Factory's already on the way. We have +1 in production as well. ByuN is looking quite solid here as he's setting up for a 2-1-1. Interesting. So we saw this a lot earlier today. This morning, we casted ByuN versus Solar in a TVZ in the finals of ESL Cup Americas. And ByuN was playing these really heavy 2-base styles where he would delay his third base for quite some time. His third CC is still not on the way. So this is going to be a little bit committed from ByuN. As the longer he delays his third, the more damage he's going to have to be doing here with his first push. Behind this, Dark is working on his Bailey nest, building up his link count, regaining control of his third. Getting back into this. Meanwhile, this medevac drop is going to hit. It's not quite lined up, but, you know, +1 is on the horizon as well for ByuN. Because ByuN kept all of his Reapers alive, they're also going to be available with that first push, which is actually going to be pretty impactful. Like, these Reapers, they can do so much here, disrupting the Ling Bane surround potential with those KDA charges. Like, Reapers are actually a surprisingly effective supportive unit. You don't see them too often because ideally you want continued Marine production, but, like, even a handful, even like 1 or 2 Reapers with a main army can be devastating for a Zerg player trying to surround Marine Force. But here we go, the Lings are coming in, and ByuN, he gets caught with his pants down. Despite that, the stutter stepping is looking pretty good, and ByuN will still clean up these Lings. But Dark was able to catch a portion of them towards the north. Oh, that was 56 Lings though. Not an ideal trade for Dark. Ay, ay, ay. He's trying to catch ByuN, but alas, Dark potentially was caught out instead. Bailings are on the way. Reapers have arrived. How good are the KDA charges? How good is the target firing? Oh my god. Yeah, these Bailings, they're not going to be able to engage. They're not going to be able to like collapse on these Marines. The target firing is just too good. ByuN, he takes down every single Bailing. He takes down the Queens as well. There's nothing left. He busts into the third base, and GG gets called. ByuN takes game number 1. GG. A very strong start here from ByuN. From the beginning, Dark was sipping up. Dark, he's maybe he just woke up, you know, maybe he just got out of bed. But he's got to shake the rust off. He needs to take a moment, take a breath here, because the initial Reaper getting 2 drones is something that should not be happening at this level of play. Should not be happening at this stage whatsoever. So yeah, we saw Dark stumbling a little bit. We also saw the surround that he had on ByuN's army. Clearly wasn't worth it. It's one of those things where, you know, you can get a decent surround and you're catching his army a little bit spread thin, which may look good, but again, we saw the army trade so efficiently, and that was an overstep from Dark, and that snowballed into a win for ByuN, just because Dark, he threw away 56 Lings in that engagement. And that was the beginning of the end here for Dark, and now we're going to be getting into our next game. Very interesting vetoes here. Dark getting rid of Dragon Scales, not Gresvan like Serral did. So we're going to have a very different kind of map layout this time. Game 2 is going to be Ancient Cistern. Dark going to have a little bit more breathing room. He's going to have more chances to fight back here and to put a point on the board. I do think that Ancient Cistern is more of a comfort zone in general for most Zerg players, especially for Dark. We'll see how ByuN switches things up here in game number 2. Here we go. Why? Hello, Jeff Bezos. I saw you had that. You had the same copy pasta this morning. God damn it. As we're getting into this end, we do have ByuN, of course, in the bottom left. In the top right, we have for DKZ, it is Dark. I could be crazy, but it looks like Dark has more volume in his hair. Do you, like, grow extra hair on his head? Am I crazy, Kuro? Does it look like it's more like puffy? It's more floofy.
Maybe he got a perm or something. Would it be the first time?
True. Kuro letting us know that Dark got a perm. Confirmed. I'm just remembering of Crank when Crank got a perm. That was an interesting time. As we're getting into this Hatchigas pool from Dark. Meanwhile, ByuN going for his patented 2 racks opener on the low ground, as to be expected. Nothing too crazy so far from our players. And we'll see what kind of variation ByuN goes for. Also, I got ahead of myself. I said a low ground 2 racks opener. That is not true. It looks like ByuN is going for a racks expand. Let's go. So ByuN is mixing things up. So a stark contrast from game 1, where game 1 he went for 3 raxes. He doubled down on the aggression here. Game 2, we don't have an SCV scout. We're going for a rack expand straight into a marine. This is looking like more of a special kind of opener, where we go for a factory on the low ground to wall off instead. Very interesting. A little bit of a greedy opener from ByuN. Oh, but with this Marine first, his goal here is to hunt down, chase down this Overlord, and it looks like he's going to be able to get it. Already a good start. It's going to be supply blocking Dark. Taking down the first Overlord and keeping Dark in said Dark. Ay, ay, ay. And there it is, Dark. Behind this, just working on his 3rd hatchery. Going to be trying to break out of the supply block, working on his queens as well. Again, a nice win for ByuN early on, shutting down that Overlord. And from here, we're just going to be transitioning into a more standard game. Into, I imagine, a 3cc before Starport. Oh, never mind. We're going to be going straight up 1-1-1. Okay. Once again, a little bit more... Actually, I mean, I should have assumed that. Once again, a little bit more aggressive out of ByuN. If you remember in the last game as well, ByuN did delay his 3rd CC, or skip it entirely to go for a big committed push. It's just something about ByuN recently where he has been really prone to delaying his 3rd, just being that much more aggressive, that much more in the face of the Zerg player. He likes it, Bob. He likes it. And again, Dark is unaware as to what's going on. He doesn't know how committed this is going to be. He doesn't know how aggressive ByuN plans on being. There it is. Cloak is on the way. Additional Hellions as well. So far, Dark hasn't been able to get a read on this. He's still just droning back at home, working on his queens, which, of course, queens are amazing in the early game. That's kind of what we want. It's where we want to be. Dark just mustering up his defenses. Hellions do push on forward. They get a 1 tumor. 1 tumor for their troubles. They're looking to bypass the queens entirely. It looks like they will. They barely make it through. The wall was not thrown down in time. The drones are under threat. 5 workers already go down. The drones are lining up, and actually we just go straight into the main. Queens are not in position. More drones are being lined up. More workers are going down. And this 4 Hellion run-by is doing so much damage already. Is doing too much damage. 8 workers and so much lost mining time. Can we get another volley? We cannot. Dark will clean that up. That was merely the first wave. That was merely the first attack. The Banshee does arrive as well. Cloak still 10 seconds away. And Spores just got thrown down. So a little bit mistimed from ByuN. Did reveal his hand a little bit too early. And as a result, Dark will be ready for the Cloak Banshees. He is ready for this. As Spores finish up in every single mineral line. And the Banshee does take a lot of hits. Back at home, ByuN are going to be throwing down 2 more Raxes. I believe ByuN still has not thrown down a 3rd CC, by the way. So this is almost looking like the beginnings of a 2-base all-in. Yeah, there we go. 2 more Raxes in the main base. No 3rd CC. Now, if it was anyone other than ByuN, I would say this is a 2-base all-in. But again, we were casting ByuN earlier today, and he was like really just delaying his 3rd so much in almost every game against Solar. He was just hyper aggressive, but, you know, more committed than anything. So Banshee finally does go down. ByuN shaking his head a little bit on camera after losing that. 1-1 is on the way. Hopefully Dark doesn't drone up too much. To be fair, we're talking about Dark. Like, he's not really one to be too greedy, generally. Baneling Nest in production, Lair on the way as well. Now, this tech has been delayed because of all the aggression. That means that Baneling speed will not be done for the first push. Uh-oh. And that first push is going to hit like a truck. Because at this point, I do want to say it's a 2-base all-in. At this point, I have to say that, like, mate, this third base, it's so late. It's not going to happen. It's not going to come. You know what is coming, though? Oh, yeah. Here we go. The tanks have arrived. Creep is being receded here. Marines are pushing on forward. There are a lot of queens. There are lings on the way, but no banelings. No banelings. Bear that in mind. There we go. 3 banelings now in production. Baneling speed a ways off. The lair is not even done. ByuN is sharking around, looking for a better angle of attack. Denies creep, getting on top of this 4th base. The lings, are they coming from behind? Dark does come in. He gets on top of the tank. The tank will go down. And Dark, he stops it before it can snowball out of control. The reinforcements, they arrive, but a little bit too late. ByuN still only has 1 tank. Dark has that much less to worry about. This hatchery, though, is still looking exposed. You can see Dark trying to catch some reinforcements across the map. This hatchery getting very low. The transfuses will keep it alive a little bit longer. Dark, he goes for a run by at the 3rd base, but there is no 3rd. Mate, the 3rd does not exist. There never was. There never will be a 3rd. We have 2 Liberators on the way. Continue tank production. I'm worried about this run by here from Dark. I'm worried that he wants to try to catch some reinforcements or try to catch some economy. But ByuN is all in. Dark just buying time. Baneling speed on the way. Oh, good target firing out of ByuN though. Gets 2 of those banelings, looking for the 3rd. ByuN just wedging himself between the 3rd and 4th base. Cutting Dark off from that 4th. Is going to be able to take it down. From here, Dark once again trying to go for a run by, trying to catch reinforcements. Hatchery will fall. Not the most important base for Dark, to be fair. Like, he's still in a decent economy. He runs into reinforcements, and here we go. Dark can't quite collapse on this. He's trying to. He does catch some of those Marines. But the tank positioning is just too good. Oh, the Ling. This Ling run by not finding any damage. That was a little bit wasteful from Dark, and it looks like he just does not have enough. He's going to be able to get on top of 2 of these tanks, but the reinforcements are coming. There are too many Marines. There's not enough creep. There's not enough banelings. And ByuN has too much. ByuN has too much. Dark is bleeding out. We don't get to see 2-base all-ins too often unless it's from ByuN. He's been doing this a lot recently. We saw a lot of it this morning, and here we go. The Marines have arrived. Banelings are on the way. Baneling speed is finally going to kick in, but too little, too late. The spread is too good. The split is too good. As ByuN collapses on these queens, GG gets called, and ByuN takes a 2-0 lead. Let's go. GG. Again, oh my god, we're getting double ByuNs. As ByuN is going to be taking a very strong lead in this series. Dark struggling quite a bit here. Again, it did look like Dark was expecting ByuN to be going for a more macro-oriented follow-up. A big reason for this, if you remember, is the Overlord. The Overlord dying really early on. Dark had a really hard time scouting his opponents, getting a read on the main base, trying to figure out how committed or uncommitted ByuN was. And as a result, we saw Dark, he went into faster 1-1 upgrades, he went for delayed bathing speed, he was really struggling to hold on to his bases, and initially it looked decent for Dark as he killed the first tank, but outside of that, ByuN was able to snowball out of control. These run-bys from Dark, not really finding any damage, becoming a little bit wasteful even, just because of how efficiently ByuN was trading. And now we're getting into potentially the final game of the series on Gresswan. Uh-oh. Oh boy, it is going to be Gressman of all maps. ByuN, of course, he is willing to be very turtly on this map. We saw that earlier this morning. We saw ByuN initially, he's hyper aggressive with ByuN, but if the Zerg player is able to stabilize, if the Zerg player is able to hold on and to solidify their like 4 or 5 base economy, then ByuN is more than willing to throw down a wall of turrets, a wall of towers, a wall of tanks, transition into tank ghosts, and just turtle from there. He is willing to embrace that if he's forced into it. That's the other thing I should say, is that that's never typically ByuN's end goal on Gressman, but again, you know, if it arrives, he welcomes it in. Oh, here we go. We're getting into our next game, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gressman, we have the Korean Terran, ByuN, Shopify Rebellion. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Gressman, we have for CranKy Gaming, it is Dark. Here we go. Again, Dark just having a hard time this series. I would say in game 1, things did look a little bit rough around the edges for Dark. In game 2, it did seem more like Dark just misreading the situation a little bit, not being fully aware of how committed ByuN was. I don't blame Dark too much because 2 base all-ins in this matchup are very uncommon. They don't happen too often. If you look at other players like Clem or like Cure, even Maru, 2 base all-ins, they're more of a rarity in TVZ. But ByuN has been a little bit more fond of it recently. Over the past couple of weeks, like, he has just been doubling down on the aggression, playing with the meta, playing with like expectations in this matchup, and yeah, you know, like why make a third? Why throw down a third seed? You don't need it. You don't need it, Poppy. Just double down, make more Marine. True. And I guess like I bring it up as ByuN is going for a Mass Reaper, by the way. So the game may end soon. But I bring it up referring to ByuN, it's not like ByuN has like, you know, he's not just like playing with expectations and like, you know, trying to catch his opponents unawares. It's also the fact that ByuN has some of the best control in the world, right? Of course, like because of that, like if we give him some extra units, he can make some magic happen. He can snowball out of control, and you know, a 2-base ByuN is more terrifying than even a 2-base Maru at times. But here we go. ByuN throws down a third Rax in the main base. He's going to be going Mass Reaper. Just like we saw previously in game 1, the goal here for ByuN is to contain his opponent. The goal here really is to kill the third base and contain Dark to 2 bases. If he gets anything extra, that's a bonus. And here we go. The first Reaper has arrived. Going to be dancing with the Lings. And it looks like he may even get one of said Lings so far. Good control out of Dark, pulling back the weakened units. Buying enough time for the first Queen to pop out. Now Dark does have the third base on the way at the linear location. ByuN has to be careful not to overextend. Does chip away at that drone. He rotates around. He gets eyes on the third base, and this third should not finish. Dark is going to be forced to cancel this. He's going to be contained to 2 bases. Again, there's just too many Reapers on the way, and Dark cannot deal with this. As I say that, this time, as opposed to game 1, if you remember, in game 1, it took a long time for Link Speed to kick in. Dark this time prioritized his gas mining. This time, Dark does have Link Speed finishing up in 10 seconds. Lings are on the way. I do think ByuN should still cancel this base, but Dark is going to be looking to punish ByuN afterwards. There it is. There is the cancel. ByuN needs to race back home. Link Speed just kicked in. And here we go. We have 14 Lings on the way. Dark racing across the map, trying to catch some reinforcements. The jig is up. ByuN is now aware that Link Speed is done. He's going to be that much more careful with his units. He has to make sure he preserves them. Saving Private Reaper. Can the Reaper make it into the main base without getting surrounded? Oh, the Lings, they do arrive. They're looking for the surround. It looks like ByuN is going to get caught out. One Reaper goes down. And the rest of these Reapers will not make it home. A good catch by Dark. He cleans everything up. ByuN shaking his head on camera. And this is a much better start for Dark compared to game 1. Now, Dark, he did still lose his third. But upon cleaning up all those Reapers, oh, ByuN hasn't transitioned. Uh-oh. And he's not going to. This is devastating. ByuN did not start his tech lab. He did not start his reactor. And he can't because of the positioning of this map, because the add-ons would be exposed. Dark is waiting for it, and ByuN knows it. That's why he's stuck making Reapers. Ay. This is actually a really, really rough position for ByuN. He needs to force Dark back. Needs to create the room here to be able to get into those add-ons. There we go. Third CC is on the way. ByuN is looking for a longer game. He knows he cannot hit any timing. There's no stim timing. There's no medevac time. There's nothing really available here for ByuN. These Reapers are keeping him alive, but he has nothing else. There we go. Finally, the add-ons are on the way. Finally, ByuN he's finding the room to take up into his bio style. But ByuN is actually really far behind right now. Meanwhile, Dark, he's getting his third up and running. He double expanded, so he's getting his fourth as well. Because he had his third cancelled, he needs to take 2 bases at once. He's joining up, getting double Evo chambers. We can see Dark is cutting corners. He's delaying his lair in favor of 2 Evo chambers for 1-1. Usually this is greedy. I mean, you could argue that this is what killed Dark on Gressman, is skipping his upgrades. Sorry, skipping his lair. But because he's so far ahead, he can afford to. He can afford to skip his lair and to delay it. Meanwhile, 1 reactor goes down. Dark abusing his map control here. Now that 1-1 is on the way, once we have enough gas for it, Dark should be working on his lair and then his Baneling nest. But there's no rush to get into Banelings right now. That's why he can afford to delay it. Reapers are on the map, and you know, they're doing what they can to keep ByuN in this, to keep him safe. He's working on his upgrades as well, but these upgrades, the Stim, 1-1, they're all so heavily delayed. The Liberator has a little work to do, and there's no Spore. So it's going to take a while for this Liberator to be cleaned up. It is going to take a while. So ByuN, he isn't taking this lying down. You know, he's cleaning up creep in the center. He's getting 1 queen, getting 2 queens. Oh, in the main. Bit of an overstep by Dark. So this is the beginning. This is the beginning of a comeback. A couple of small victories here and there for ByuN. They can lead into him eventually stabilizing. So he gets 2 queens. He cleans up a little creep. He's keeping Dark busy. These are all good things for ByuN. Meanwhile, Dark, he's now working on his lair, now working on his Baneling nest. Baneling speed should be on the horizon once the Baneling nest finishes. Dark, oh, double expanding, or he's taking a 5th and also getting a macro hatch at the same time. That's how comfortable Dark is. So even though that these have been like these small little victories for ByuN, he needs more. He still needs more to go his way. It is still not enough. Oh, Dark is maybe being too greedy, by the way. He's getting 2 hatcheries. Yes, he's also getting a Hydroden and an Infestation Bit. Dark, he is cutting so many corners right now. And initially, I would have said that he can get away with it, but now Stim is done, and we have a drop going into the main base. Dark, can he defend with Pure Ling? A good position. Yeah, he does deny the drop. At the same time, a big Ling counterattack. He gets into the mineral line. 3 workers go down, keeping ByuN busy at home. Drop to the north gets denied. We have Lings in the main. We have, I believe, Queens at the 4th. Dark is keeping up with all the aggression here of ByuN, and even attacking across the map. And Dark, he's gotten away with his greed. He teched up so heavily, and now we even have a Hive on the way, sub 9 minutes. Dark, he's running up to 80, and I think at this point it isn't just like a mountain to climb. It's it's a lot of catching up to do that ByuN has to do here. He's falling behind further and further when it comes to the supplies. It isn't just the supplies, it's the quality of the army as well. 2-2 is on the way for both players. Now, is there a world where maybe Dark was too greedy? Maybe. I mean, if we get some good Widowmine shots, we need some like perfect Widowmine connections. Decent shots on the Banelings. Good target firing as well. ByuN trading so well against this, and oh my god, he does take a Baneling to the face. But that was insane. That was an insane fight from ByuN. He's still in this. He needs to do that again. If he does that again for a second time. Unfortunately, this time for the second attack, Bailing Speed is done. Bailing Speed is now done, and Dark, he's already droned up as much as he has to. He can now focus on producing his army on Lingbane Hydra. Widowmine does get triggered on that Changeling. Here we go. Dark is going to be rushing on forward here. He has an overwhelming force. Up 30 supply. Big mine shot goes off, but one mine is not enough. Not anymore. Not any longer. As we can see, that last mine is a little bit out of position. Not quite here to support the army of ByuN. As Dark is just rushing on forward. Really good target firing out of ByuN once again. The mines are being borrowed, but they get taken out. And it looks like Dark just has too much. He is fighting back. GG gets called. And Dark puts a point on the board. GG. Ah. GG, well played. We have a series. We have a series before us. It's been a rough showing here from Dark so far in Game 1 and Game 2. Here in Game 3, ByuN, again, he did kind of overextend a little bit. His initial 3 racks, he did shut down the third base, yes, but we saw Dark just collapse on those Reapers, shut them down, and as a result, ByuN, he didn't have the freedom to actually throw down his add-ons. He didn't have the map control to safely transition, and from that moment, ByuN was behind. He was far behind. We saw how late his transition was. Sim, combat shields +1, his third base. It was a disastrous start for ByuN. But a lot of that, again, is predicated on the openers. He can bring it back. He can fight back here. ByuN still is only 1 game away from making it onto the next round. He is still ahead. And up next, Neo Humanity. Oh boy. This is going to get interesting. So, Neo Humanity is the smallest map in the map pool, has a short rush distance, and Dark loves going for 1-1 roach pushes. He's in love with the 1-1 roach pushes on Neo Humanity. He hits like a truck on this map. Likewise though, ByuN, he's not afraid to go for like 4 axes on this map. Not proxy 4 axes, you know, two racks into 4 axes behind it. Going for these big aggressive pushes. He's also aware of how much Dark is fond of these roaches, and because of that, I imagine he would be one to maybe just temper himself and go into faster tanks. He may look to go for a longer game, cut the map in half. This is a very defensive map. We'll see. We'll see how ByuN approaches this. We have seen the 2-axe opener on Neo Humanity show weaknesses, show some flaws here against roach timings, but here we go. We are getting into our next game. In the top left, we have ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. It is Dark for DKZ. Here we go. And yeah, this is what I expected. So ByuN is not going for a 2-axe opener. Again, we have seen players like Cure and even ByuN really struggle going for 2 axes. The reasoning for that is when you go for a 2-axe opener, you delay your tank production so much, you know, because you're committed to bio play. You start off obviously with your Reapers, and then as you follow up with either a 3cc 2-1-1 or a 2-1-1 variation, or even a 3-axe or a 4-axe. And whenever you do any of these things, your factory production is so delayed, your tank production is so heavily delayed, and tanks are exactly what you need, Banshees as well, against roaches. And because roaches are so commonplace on Neo Humanity, it makes sense for ByuN to go for a Rax expand specifically on this map. Specifically against against Dark as well. Meanwhile, Dark is going for a Hatch Gas Pool. Standard opener from our Zerg player. Standard opener from ByuN as well. So, of course, ByuN respecting Dark quite a bit. Likewise, Dark also respecting ByuN. We have seen against players like Cure, against players that are more prone to 2-axing on Neo Humanity, Dark is willing to go gasless. He is willing to go for a fast third base. But here, against ByuN, Dark is not doing that. He is not taking that risk. He is not taking that chance. Here we go. So from here, everything is above board, above the belt, if you will. We have our CC on the way into our factory for ByuN, so no 2-1-1 variation. Likewise, Dark just going for a hatch gas pool, and should be working on that third base momentarily. It's looking like he wants to expand at that linear third location. Looking to take that base. And ByuN is going to be very economic with this. We have a third CC on the way, so it's going to be third CC before starport. Meanwhile, ByuN, he does rotate around, he does check, and he does see the third base being taken by Dark. So again, very economic stuff from both players. Everything looking as normal as it should be. Now, I wonder if, because Dark sees that it's not a 2-Rax opener, I wonder if Dark is still going to commit to roaches, or if he goes for a different style entirely. We have seen Dark go for hive rushes on this map. If he gets into Ling Bane, we have seen him rush into hive, rush into ultras even, or even rush into broodlords. Not unheard of for Dark. Lane counterattack gets across the map. He wants an SCV. He does get one, and he slips into the main, getting a full scout. If he gets eyes on the third TC, is going to try to delay it a little bit. Gets eyes on the follow-up as well. The factory, the starport, the lack of second racks. Dark, he knows. He now knows. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we don't see an add-on swap. ByuN is going for a straight-up medevac first with that starport. And with the tech lab on the factory, he goes for a cyclone first as well. Very interesting. Okay, so a cyclone drop is upon us. Back at home, Dark is going to be committing to roaches. Even though we do see a standard opener from ByuN, Dark, he still knows what he likes, he knows what he loves, and that is the roach, papi. The roach. Oh. Roach Warren is on the way. ByuN, I believe, none the wiser. He hasn't seen the tech yet, as we have an add-on swap to go into a later Banshee. Cyclone has been revealed. A very important scout for Dark to be aware of what ByuN is working with. And I believe the first medevac is zooming across the map. I believe it's heading into the main base of Dark. Oh, but I believe it looks like Queens are in position. The drop is going to be forced back. I'm just judging. Feels observant, man. Feels. And yeah, the drop is going to be unloading outside the third base, the triangular third base location instead. Just looking for some map control, looking to deny some of the creep. Hellion does get surrounded as well. So far, good defense from Dark. There's that drop that we were talking about. Did try to go into the main, but was deflected earlier. Oh, and roaches are already moving out across the map. Unfortunate timing for Dark, as he does get caught out by a cyclone. Good positioning from ByuN. He does force that back. Pushing onto creep here, cleaning up a lot of it. We do see that Dark has enough here to just collapse onto these Marines. Focusing them down one after the other. Can he get the cyclone? Up! Up! Oh, he barely will. Cyclone does go down. A bit of an overextension from ByuN. An expensive loss from our Terran player. But he does at least confirm the roach production. Behind this, he's getting into his 3-1-1 setup. Everything looking as it should. Likewise, we have double Evo chambers on the way from Dark. So 1-1 is on the way. We were talking about how potent 1-1 roach timings can be on this map. And that is still applicable. Still in supply here. Against ByuN. As for now, ByuN going to be trying to harass here with his Banshees. Going to try and pick off whatever drones he can, but we have detection. We have Queens in position. The Banshees are having a hard time really gaining too much value. Meanwhile, I expected a 1-1 roach timing. That's exactly what we're seeing here. We're cutting workers at 71. We're taking control of the center gas location, and roaches are amassing. Now the question becomes, how many tanks do we have at home? We have 1 tank on the way. We have a 2nd factory in production for double tank production. But is ByuN ready for this? Does he see this coming? Okay. We have 1 tank here in between the bases. We have a 2nd tank in production. I just popped out. So we have 2 tanks in position. No bunkers. We have no bunkers because ByuN is none the wiser. He is not ready for this. He doesn't see this coming. The roaches are still continuing to amass. We have a tunneling claws, burrow, and a Nidus on the way. Oh boy. It's all going to be coming out here for Dark. And ByuN still hasn't read this. It looks like he may just have seen those roaches. If he had, we should see bunkers. We need bunkers in between the bases. A turret is on the way. Scan into the main. Doesn't see too much. Doesn't see any additional tech. And Dark is about to max out. But okay, it looks like Dark, he's thinking further ahead. We have an infestation on the way. So Dark, he's getting ready for this push not to work. He's having second thoughts about this timing. There are a lot of Marines. With these turrets on the way, I believe Tunneling Claws is not going to be enough. But here we go. We have a Nidus into the main. 3 tanks are in position. Now 4 tanks. That 2nd factory coming in clutch. Dark going to try to come in from behind. He's trying desperately to get on top of those tanks. Biles, they will connect, but it's too much. The defensive position is too good, and Dark, he just rams his face against a brick wall. ByuN's tank positioning was too good. The Nidus in the main does not finish. We have another Nidus in said main base, but ByuN does see it ahead of time. He's going to deny it. And Dark, I think the most that Dark can hope for here is to try to delay the 4th. 4th is actually, not on the way yet. Army of ByuN is moving out. A roach counterattack here, getting into the mineral line. Isn't going to find too much damage. 4th base may just be cancelled. Biles will bring it down. At the same time, though, ByuN, he doesn't care about his 4th base. He's pushing across the map into a roach army. Dark coming in from behind. He's collapsing on those tanks. Really awkward position for ByuN. The surround is real. ByuN gets cleaned up. He does take down the hatchery, but he also lost his 4th base. We trade 4th for a 4th. Dark was kind of all in anyway. Dark gonna be forced to just re-expand, retake those bases. He's going for a big counterattack. There's only 1 tank behind this army. Never mind, there are 2 more tanks. Dark overextending. He's gonna lose too much here in his attack. The roaches, the ravagers are falling. This is snowballing out of control. Dark losing too much. Just misjudging the situation. Now he's on the back foot. That was a lot of roaches down the drain, and Dark did not have a big bank. He does not have a big economy behind this. He can't afford to lose all those roaches, all those ravagers. Now Dark is droning. Infestation bit is done. I don't think we have an infestor yet, but I think we need them. I think at this point, we need to work on infestors. +1 is on the way. Hive as well. Vipers would help. Any kind of spellcaster. And thankfully, it looks like ByuN did enough damage where... Sorry, Dark did enough damage where ByuN is still stuck at home. There we go. 2 infestors are on the way. These are late, by the way. These are very late infestors. Because they don't just need to pop out. They need to gather enough energy for fungal growths as well. But it looks like ByuN is being contained. And He's going to be able to hold on. Is going for a drop across the map. He's going to try to force his opponent back. 3-3 on the way. Infestors are about to pop. There's that drop at that third base, but a big pick off. Medevac goes down. And ByuN is turtling. At this point, ByuN, he is focusing on tank production. He's got Vikings on the way, turrets, soon to be towers. ByuN is doing what you do best on Neo Humanity, and he is turtling up. And he's giving Dark a lot of freedom. As we can see, Dark, he's double expanding. He's spreading creep all over the map. He's working towards his Viper production 3-3. Dark is being given a lot of room right now. Especially after Dark lost his Ravages, I do think there was a window. There was an opportunity for ByuN to counterattack, but he just wasn't feeling too confident. Wasn't feeling too good about his position, and yeah, as a result, Dark has remaxed. And Dark now knows better than to try to force the issue and push in. Does catch some of these tanks. One tank will go down. Again, Dark, he isn't committing to an attack. He's just poking and prodding. Picking off whatever he can on the edge. As he loses roaches, he's replacing them with more lings and more banelings. Meanwhile, ByuN, he's going full... Well, he's getting ready for just like tank ghost, essentially, or mech ghost. We have +3 vehicle weapons on the way. Additional tanks. More ghosts. 4 ghosts at a time. And the goal here for ByuN is to slowly push forward and take the center base. Get his 5th. Meanwhile, Dark has just been refining his army, getting so much Ling Bane on the field. Vipers have now arrived. Blinding Clouds are available, and here we go. Dark, he's collapsing on the army. Pushing on forward. Big EMPs on the Vipers. Did land 1 Blinding Cloud and a Power Bomb. And Dark is running out of steam. He doesn't quite break this position. He trades well with the ByuN, but he doesn't get too many tanks. As Dark is forced back. Only 2 ghosts went down. And ByuN is taking that center base. A very important moment here for ByuN. Meanwhile, Dark, he's working towards a Hydra Den. He's a ways off from Lurkers. And even then, I don't think Lurkers would be amazing in this position. Pattern Glands, Pneumatized Carapace, Overlord Speed. Dark is being forced into a longer game, and ByuN, upon taking that center 5th, ByuN is fine. Just chilling. He's going to be fortifying himself. He's getting additional factories, liberators, more tanks, more armories for double vehicle and ship weapon upgrades. This is the nature of Neo Humanity. Now, what's important, though, is that Dark is mass expanding. He's even looking to take some of ByuN's bases if possible. He needs to start mining from ByuN's side of the map. He needs to take resources away from ByuN now while he can. See him trying to delay some of these CCs as well. Poking and prodding wherever he can. God, that's a lot of lings. That's a lot of lings, Papi. And here we go. The lings are flooding on forward, trying to get on top of the tanks. And it looks like Dark will. 1, 2, 3 tanks going to be going down. He can look to even get more. 5 tanks in total. Well worth it here for Dark. He doesn't just get the tanks, he also denies and forces cancels on those CCs. Dark trading minerals for gas, essentially. Keeping his Ravagers alive. Remaxing on all those lings. And he's just slowing ByuN down, not allowing him to max out. To really solidify himself. As he's working on high-sec orders tracking. Neo Steel frames. The army comes back in. Gets Gets another lib. Banelings roll into that center base. Ooh, does not get into the mineral line. That was close, though. That was very close. We can see ByuN fortifying himself, getting those CCs up and running on the left-hand side. Dark, he's desperately trying to slow him down while he can. Trying to deny these bases while he can as well. May just be a little bit too little too late. Here we go. ByuN pushing in once again. The Biles will be connecting. Almost getting a kill on that CC. At the same time, a big Ling run by. Doesn't quite make it through though. Good positioning from ByuN. As Dark pushes in, I think it looks like he gets one kill on a CC. He gets the second CC as well. Barely gets both bases. I believe those were kills. But ByuN now has a strong army. Sure, he's been losing some command centers, yes, but he's been building up the ghosts, the Hellbats, the tanks. He's pushing it through the center. Lurker Den still not done. Big flanking fungal though. Does catch a lot of those ghosts. And the Lings are rushing on forward. There are too many Hellbats though. It looks like we can't keep on pushing. We do get 2 tanks. And the Liberator as well. Dark is going to be able to back off. Remax. Spire on the way. Lurker Den is now done. I don't know how impactful Lurkers are really going to be here. Again, Lurkers typically are not what you want. But ooh, we do have a Nidus into the main. He's going to allow for some Lings to get into the main base. Force a big reaction here from ByuN. Repositions a lot of his tanks. A lot of his Liberators. As this Hellbat run by, trading very well here against the Lings. Dark pushing on forward. It looks like the Ghosts were out of position because of the Nidus. And 3 tanks get picked off. DCCs though, they're finally finishing up. Oh, Lings, they do get into the mineral line. 9 workers go down. But the planetaries are on the way. ByuN looking to expand on the left-hand side. A bold move. This is the downside. Dark does this often. Even though Dark has been expanding a lot, he hasn't been mining. Even though Dark has had control of this base here on the left-hand side for minutes, for a long time, he's had this base. He has not mined from it at all, and that means that that's still a fresh base for ByuN. That is still a fresh mining base. Ooh, as the Ravagers bile it down. Oh my god. The Ravagers, they bile down the CC. Okay. Was not expecting that. But the hatchery goes down. And again, that means that even though Dark had control of that base, and even though he had that hatchery, it didn't really amount to anything. It does mean that there's still plenty of minerals to mine. At the same time, he pushes through the center, getting into the mineral line, catches some ghosts. Oh, but Dark, he's just losing too much here. This is an expensive loss. He loses Hydras, Ravagers, Lurkers. This was not a good fight for Dark, and you can see him plummet in the army supply. And that's going to trigger a counterattack. ByuN now on the offensive. Dark has to give up this base. He cannot hold on to it. Dark is running out of gas. He didn't take any of the additional gases at those fresh bases. Dark is running out of money. He is running out of resources. He can make Lings, but he needs more than just Lings at the moment. Oh, at the same time, though, big Hydra counterattack catching a lot of SCVs. Really nicely done. Really necessary damage here for Dark. She had to do something. And 18 workers, that's something. Dark is looking to reposition, looking for surround on this army as well. The Banelings, they crash on forward. They take down the Ghosts, they take down the Hellbats. Dark getting on top of the tanks as well. Dark taking a good fight on the right-hand side. Meanwhile, on the left, he's going to be losing another hatchery. Another mining base. He may. He is trying to rotate around, trying to keep it alive. Dark, though, is still hurting. Even though Dark has a lot of workers, he doesn't have a lot of mining right now. He has just lost 3 hatcheries. He's lost control of 3 hatcheries. And top right is not mining either. Yeah, Dark, he does not have a lot of mining bases left. Losing so many bases at once. At the same time, Dark, he wants to go for the economy of his opponent as well. He's coming in with a handful of units. Takes down another tank. But Dark, he's up against the wall. Just those 2 hatcheries. You can see him shake his head a little bit there on cams. Dark knows that things are not looking good. Again, if only he had some of these bases mining, then he'd be able to remax. He'd be okay. Alas, that is not the case. He doesn't have much left to work with. He's got 1 army left. 1 and done. And ByuN is just looking too solid back at home. He's got a line of tanks. He's got turrets. He's got sensor towers. If Dark doesn't get another base up and running soon, it's going to be over. And even if he gets another base, he's going to be on par with the economy of ByuN, and that is not good enough. As ByuN is rotating over towards the right-hand side. Cleaning up a lot of this creep. Dark avoids the main army. He's going for a big run by on the left-hand side instead. He's getting on top of some of those tanks. It looks like he should break this base, as it is not a planetary, it is a CC. Oh, but he's fighting within range of the tanks, fighting within range of the Liberator as well. And yeah, Dark is being cleaned up. It's too much. GG gets called, and ByuN does it. He will take the series 3-1. GG, well played. That was quite a long one, actually. Very back and forth. There were a lot of different steps, a lot of stages to that game. But alas, Dark was being a little bit too wasteful. He wasn't able to preserve his bases, more importantly. And there was a moment, if you remember, there was a moment maybe like 5 minutes ago when Dark pushed through the center of the map. He pushed in with Lurkers, Hydras, and Ravagers into a tank line, and he lost such an expensive army. He lost like the majority of his gas-based units in that push, and from that moment I think he went down to like 120, 130 supply. And that was the moment where he had lost any kind of advantage that he had. He lost his main force, and right as that was happening, that is when ByuN was denying the bases, when he was shutting down top right, shutting down bottom left, taking down the center base as well. That was the beginning of the end for Dark. And GG, well played. Both Terran players will be facing off in the upper bracket semifinals. If you're a fan of Cyril, if you're a fan of Dark, do not fret. They are still in the tournaments. They are still going to be fighting their hearts out in the lower bracket tomorrow. I believe it's going to be Cyril versus Lambo and Dark versus... Cyril versus Lambo and Dark versus Rainer. We have our ZvT elimination matches tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Meanwhile, we're not done tonight. We're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we will have a PvP between Hero and MaxBax. See you soon.